proceed now to the meditation. And ultimately, of course, you're all going to be barefoot. But I know that's not the case. But if you are, go down and reach down to your feet and tickle the bottoms of your feet. Okay, wiggle your toes. And activate that connection to the earth. I see some people are very enthusiastic. Thank you. Because we're going to start there. And let me get the music going here and we'll begin. Should be about set. There we go. So first of all, to get us centered here in this space, I want you all to take 3 deep breaths. And as we bring in these deep breaths, we pull our energy into the space that we are in, to the place we are sitting. And now we assume the position of our arch, our back straight, our feet flat on the floor. Relaxing all of our muscles. And we focus on our breathing. Breathing in a natural rhythm. But continuing a deep breath where it is comfortable to do so. And as we go through this process of meditation this morning, I want you to remember exactly how it is done and its purpose. For all this has purpose for your own awakening, as we will talk about in the lecture. Breathing in a natural rhythm, with our feet activated, we visualize and send our roots of our energy field from our root, our seat, and our feet into the earth through the floor where you are sitting, down into the warm earth below us. And we allow that extension of our energy to connect with the Mother Earth, for she is a conscious being. And this allows for the exchange of ions and a discharge of the negative energy that we send through the earth, that we release. Focusing on our breathing. We send our energy into the earth itself. And we ground there. We now become connected to the earth. And just like a tree, we are now activating all of our life force and awakening to the spring, to the warmth, to the rain, and to new growth. We connect to the earth, and in our inhale, we breathe that energy into our bodies, into our energy field. With our inhale, we bring this up through our feet, our legs, letting it rise, within our own energy field. And we can feel our energy begin to raise in vibration, our feet tingling as the energy moves up into our legs, through our torso and into our lungs. With our inhale, we breathe this in. We also send our roots deep in the earth, both directly down and outward, connecting to others that are around us, and letting our roots intertwine with each other. And we allow this breath to move up into our bodies, up through our lungs, into our throat, and out the top of our crown, and into the moist air outside today, out into the wind. Fully grounded, we allow ourselves to soar upward and extend our energy out above the clouds to the edge of the atmosphere of the earth. And we connect with the divine, with the Heavenly Father, Mother. And we allow this divine energy to wash over us as a shimmering of divine grace. And with our energy, with our focus on our breath, we inhale this energy from above and from below. With our inhale, we bring this energy from below and above to our heart center. And with our exhale now, within our being, at the center point of our energy, we release now all of our anxiety, all of our pain, all of our suffering, all of our trauma that we have been holding on to for so long. All of our past, all of our judgments, with our inhale, we breathe in this divine energy from above. And we pull in the energy from the earth. And at the center point of our energy, we release all things which no longer serve us. We release all things blocking our highest purpose, our greatest good, and most perfect union with the divine. For nothing exists except for this moment in time, right now. I ask that you do this in silence for 7 breaths and focus on that thought. And now I ask, grounded and centered and connected with the divine, that you open your hearts with me. That we send out love and compassion. We radiate love and compassion and healing we send to all those in pain, in suffering in the world today. Some of those we know that are in sorrow, that are healing in one form or another. And for all those on our prayer list, and those that we know of who need our healing and our love, I ask that we all visualize them, and visualize also sending our healings out to each one, our love and compassion, our intention. For by our intention, that energy will flow from us individually and collectively as this assembled group. We see them receive this energy, this love, this compassion, this embrace. We see them receive it, and they know they are loved, and they are healing. And now we take in 5 more breaths and allow for our own healing through this process. Allowing our own wounds to heal, that we may become again perfect, whole, and complete, in accordance with the etheric blueprint of our perfected selves. And now I ask that each one of us slowly pull your energy back into the space where you are sitting. Slowly come back. And join us once again. Namaste. Thank you for all who participated in that. I always feel the connection with each one of you out there. Not just that we have your image on the screen, but beyond that, we are all connecting anyway. As we segue now into the lecture, this is going to be interesting in the sense that I carry paper with me everywhere, because sometimes you get an inspiration. And so I was in the Walmart parking lot, and I had this inclination of writing like a madman. And so what you're going to hear are my thoughts streaming through. I would love to have, of course, everything being perfect for sending out again, but this will be as it's supposed to be. I want to start out with this, because I want to build upon what Sharon Flynn had talked about and also what Bill had talked about most recently. And this has to do again with how we work through our own spiritual practice. Now, if you look at this moment, this full moon today, this is the first of 4 full moons in a row, 4 super full moons. And we have this day being so unique. And I think the full moon actually is 100% at 2:30 this afternoon. But again, we have this moment, which is so synchronous and so much of an absolute wonder to be right here. And again, I'm so grateful that I got to timing it to speak now. We also have, of course, today is Palm Sunday, which represents the triumphant entrance into Jerusalem of Jesus or Yahshua. And so we have that as beginning of Holy Week, okay, for that. We have Palm Sunday today. Also have Passover today, commemorating the Hebrews' liberation from slavery in Egypt and the passing over of the forces of destruction. So we have all of this now coming synchronous into light at this time. But it also goes back to what Sharon Flynn had said last time, and this kind of influxness, this inflow of energy that is coming into the planet, which I want to talk about extensively because there is a timing point here, which is so important. For those of you who know, okay, so I did post something on Facebook, and it was a cartoon, and some of you saw it, I know, but it had to do with, but the caption was timing is everything. And so it had to do with this individual who is trying to save a damsel from getting executed by the guillotine. And he comes in and he gets all of he fights and tries to get everything there so he can actually save her. He doesn't realize that the blade has already fallen and her head's already in the basket. And so it's like, okay, he looked at his watch and he had the time wrong. But anyway, so we are kind of at that moment where we have a timing at this point. It's just wanted you to kind of realize where we're at. But it's also time again to relook our own spiritual practice. So I will admit to you, I am an imperfect being, just like all of you. And I can assume that all of you are also imperfect. I have met 1 or 2 that thought they were close to being perfect. That was their ego talking. My father used to do, I'm going to say this anyway, I was thinking about not, but my father used to have this joke. He would say, see those people over there? And he would whisper to me, said, when they go to the bathroom, their stuff doesn't smell. And it's okay. And so that was his sense of humor. But my point is, we are all imperfect and we are holding on to trauma, which is actually blocking our full implementation or full manifestation of who we are. And this is the point, in a sense, of the lecture today. I have heard so much in my practice with guidance from my own guides, with that energy coming in, with things that I have heard that I've written down. We are working through our life lessons at this point, some of which that are burdened us. We are worrying, we have anxiety over something that hasn't even happened yet. We don't even know if it's going to happen, but we burden ourselves into this worry and anxiety. And we need to work through that, become lighter and find our own peace. We must let go of what is not within our control to change. And this goes back to the meditation. Some of the clients that I'm seeing actually really want to be energy healers. They want to be out there helping others, but they forgot that they have to start with themselves. And they have to focus on themselves first. Often they have so many issues that they have the desire to help others, but really they're trying to help themselves in reality. And it's almost as if, we have that kind of, if you're having someone complaining about something, in a sense, it's almost that they have that same problem within themselves. It's almost an outreach to them. For me, I continually try to work on myself, and I call upon others to help me work through my issues. for I am far from being perfect. There is in my practice with the Essenes a self-assessment. So we end up having these faults that I have recognized, these issues that I have discovered, and my challenge and activity that I have been working through to process them through divine help in my meditations, in listening to things and working through my processes. So we have this issue with this blockage within ourselves. And I will submit to you with the spring equinox that we had, of course, on the 20th. This is a time to reevaluate where we are. And we did, of course, in the petition and signed the petition, of course, work that out. And many of you burned that in the yard and sent that to heaven, because it has to do with, again, releasing what's blocking us and bringing in, calling forward, planting those seeds of what we want to manifest in this world. And that was, of course, just last week. So we have that opportunity, this moment in time, to prepare for the new, to release the old. Your higher self holds the contract, what you signed up to be, to manifest. And to connect with that and to allow for that to come through, that can take many forms. As we've often said, we speak to God in prayer and we listen to God through meditation. But you can, of course, go into meditation anywhere you are, even in nature. I am fortunate enough to live close enough to Yorktown that I can be on the river walk at Yorktown in 5 minutes by driving, of course, but it's my opportunity to go there and do a walking meditation. So many people are so focused on their cell phones that they can't see what's happening to them. And it's this issue where I walk. The other day, there was an eagle, a bald eagle flew over my head, went into the York River, very quickly saw a fish, grabbed a fish, brought the fish, flew back over my head. Okay, and if you know the nature's signs, which many of you do, there is so many things packed in that one visual right there. But you'll miss it if you're distracted by other things. So, all that being said, I want to talk about, first of all, the energy that's flowing in to the planet. Sharon spoke about this last week. Massive energy changes coming into the earth. And she also mentioned that some are here to receive and hold light. Some are here to support those holding light. Some are here to set the conditions for all things to unfold on the planet with this moment of awakening. And some are here as examples to others or challenges to them to help them work through their life lessons and their spiritual path. Because as they work through their life lessons, they will release more of their burden, more of their blockages to who they truly are supposed to be, and allow for that connection with the higher self to convey their contract and to help that manifest in their own lives. So I want to share with you a vision, which I've shared only with one other person, by the way. And I want to, you could call it a delusion if you'd like, okay, it doesn't matter. Whatever you call it is something that I've been shown, that I've been seeing. However, I want to ask if any of you have seen the Earth as broadcast from the International Space Station. Have you seen that? Okay, so if you've seen that, I want you to visualize that. And if you need to close your eyes for this one, okay, do so. That's fine. But I want you to close your eyes or look at this and visualize in your mind that image of the planet. And you have that very thin layer of atmosphere around the Earth, which is so absolutely fascinating and so beautiful. That is the only thing that sustains life here. But let's go much deeper. And I want you to visualize also the grid above the Earth that exists. And there is this grid, this crystalline grid that exists. It's a network, a patchwork. It is a interconnecting lines which actually connect, and they line up on the ley lines on the planet, which could be 50 to 100 miles wide, sometimes 200 miles wide. We have one running right up through where we live here, up through DC. But we have that cross hatching of a grid on the Earth, converging points and ley lines. There are entity beings at those connection points. There are special power points at each location, converging at the poles at the entire grid. This has been rebuilt. This is in color, blue-green with gold and white in its edges. It is radiating both outward and inward to the planet and connecting to the Earth itself. And this is the framework for the awakening. But let's go deeper. So as this grid connects to the planet itself, you have points of light on the Earth itself. And those points of light can be nature spirits or places that are ley lines and places that are geometric formations that have been put in place. You have those nature spirits that actually will be holders of light. And think of it this way. Everywhere you go, whether it is a grove of trees or a range of mountains or a valley or rivers where they converge or a stream, you have a consciousness there. You have a nature spirit, a consciousness of that place. And those are connected back to the grid and back to the earthly mother. All this is so interconnected in its divine nature. But let's go deeper. And so on the planet itself, we have not only these groves of trees, rivers, mountains, range, all these things, which are, of course, a form of life expressed on evolutionary cycle, but they're all this interaction of energies. And here we are as humanity on the planet, and we are connected to that grid. As we do our meditations, we connect to that grid. We connect with that through our feet, through our grounding, through our connection to the earthly mother. And we can connect to all of that. When I go down to the York River, I connect with the river. You can connect with that consciousness. You can connect with that intelligence, because everything has energy. Everything is energy. And everything has a consciousness about it, an intelligence about it, an intellect about it, a physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual aspect to it. Connect with that and become that. But let's go deeper. Because as you look at the planet from the International Space Station, if you will see people on the planet which are holding light. And these are points of light that are now receiving more light and more energy into the earth. And you will see them they are resonators, and they are these beacons and these lighthouses, if you will. And they are holding light for the awakening. Some are holding more than others, and some are just awakening to it. And they're now finding their spiritual path, and they've discovered something in their spiritual path that they want to explore, and the light turned on, and you can see it from above. There's another light. But let's go deeper, because every single light that is there, and I've said this before, as individuals hold the space on the planet, they will affect all those around them just by being who they are and holding the light for others. And all of these lights connect into a hatchwork, one to the other on the planet. As one person holds a light, and another one turns on, that connects to that one. And there's another one there, and there's another one there. And that's what's happening across the world. The candles are being lit as a candlelight service at Christmas. This is happening throughout the earth. And I submit to you that we're there. This is the moment. Some people actually are not understanding what is happening, and they are very anxious and they are very confused. And this is our purpose here, to help them understand this, because it is a new way of looking at the world and a new way of living on the planet. For it is time for us to actually manifest who we really are and are meant to be. All that being said, one more thing on the planet. There are trauma points on the earth, just like there are within ourselves. And those are locations where there had been great battles, great suffering, great pain that took place. That is being released now. So you have that at any battlefields, any place of that great, great tragedy, you have that energy being released out and being dissolved away to make room for this light that is coming in. So how do I manifest all this? How do I manifest my own light? How do I make this work for me? Well, just like Bill had said, and I go back to you, Bill, because again, that was so perfect when you spoke last, that we are all believe the same things. At least we say we do, but in a sense, we have our own filters and we don't really believe the exact same things, and our path may be different. I have my own spiritual path I go back to with the Essenes. It's a method, of course, of communion in the morning, a connection with that force of nature and of heaven and earth, basically. So communion in the morning, communion in the afternoon, but it's that kind of spiritual practice. And I return to the well every time, because it's the practice that got me here to the place where I am at this moment. For me, I return to the practice that allows the door to open and for the love and compassion of the divine to flow through me directly and wash through my energy field, this cascading energy, shimmering, and the vibration reaches every cell of my body. Your connection need not be mine or the one that I found. Find your own path. Explore this. Look at what works for you. Change the wording and make the connection your own. I can give you charged words that I have found, but they won't be charged for you. It may not work. It will be words on a page unless you actually have that sincere intention that make them that way, that make them charged, that make them magical, and that make them open, makes them open a gateway to the divine and the angelic realms. So find that way in which you can connect to that love and compassion which is there for you. Take that moment. I have heard so many times that we don't have time to do this. But I will say you, with all the problems in the world, it'll wait for a moment. Take a moment and find yourself first. And there is also something else that I've heard from my guides. It is time to take your place. Now that has a lot of meaning. Take your place, meaning it is time for you to actually manifest who you're supposed to be and who you are. So find your own way, review your own spiritual path so that you can manifest what is coming in for you. A couple of things in closing. Spring gives us this opportunity to review the path we are walking in. And our message is simple. Take this perfect time to reflect in your life path, to connect to nature, to reestablish and strengthen our connection to the Father, Mother, and make the changes necessary to become closer to your highest purpose. There is a prayer, of course, that I recite daily as part of my practice. Heavenly Father, Mother, guide my hands, my feet, my heart, my mind, and my spirit to my highest purpose, my greatest good, and most perfect union with you. In this way, I reaffirm my commitment and call forward those energies to help me achieve my purpose here on earth. And I also want to end with what I had heard from one of my guides I wrote down. I want to share this with you because it is so profound to me. What was said is, you have asked to be here at this moment, to be witness to the awakening of humanity and to experience your own. It is a great honor. Open your eyes, your mind, and your heart. Extend your hand and help those sitting on the ground in despair. Help them up. Help those who do not see and lift them up to walk with you into the light of a new world. Thank you for your attention.